You're watching Eclectica. I have Seven, we have Charles, and we have Drew. How you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Live, hanging in there.
If this is your first time, we cover everything from comic books, cosplay, video games, you name it, in that whole world, we're about it. So, Drew, you got some great news for us today.
I got a couple snippets of news for you guys. Whether you like them or not is up to you, but here they are. As the old line goes, as you are, as you were. So let's dive in.
All right.
What do we got up first? What's on your mind?
I think we should talk about Idris Elba because I'm so proud of him. He's doing so well, and he's picking really great roles.
All right. So those of you who are late in the game and just now coming out from your dwelling rock, Idris Elba has been cast to play the main role in The Dark Tower, which is based on the classic, I can say that, is recreated in the 90s around that time, the classic Dark Tower series by a master of horror, Stephen King. This is a particularly fascinating one for me because I got into the Dark Tower game a bit late. It's a particularly long series, but it's a particularly great series. And I'm hoping that this film, not just for its iteration of Idris Elba being the main character, but I hope that this kind of breaks the curse and the, I guess, dicey history that goes with Stephen King adapting a lot of his novels into films. I mean, there's The Shining, which is a classic film just on any standpoint. That was a hit. But then you've had others. They made a remake of The Shining, which was a series, which was terrible. There was Dreamcatcher, which had some good moments, but didn't translate well.
Yeah, that didn't translate.
It, which, if you walk into it, think of it as a comedy, you're fine. But aside from that, is just no. So you've had better cases with like series like Under the Dome, which we were just talking about before the show. That was one of the, I think, the better attempts at a Stephen King adaptation. But I just hope, man.
Pet Sematary, a Stephen King film? Was that Pet Sematary?
Pet Sematary, yeah, which the first one was kind of but when you stop to, it hasn't aged well. I'll put it that way. Pet Sematary has not aged well. The kid getting hit by the truck is traumatizing. Cujo was a better attempt, I think, but they changed key moments of that. I think we've talked about that before on the show. Mm-hmm. In the book, the kid dies, but in the movie, because that ending was just too sad. So they switched it up and made it so he lived at the end. That was one of the better ones as well. But yeah, Idris Elba, and backing him, who was also playing another lead, he's going to be the antagonist, Matthew McConaughey, as the mysterious man in black who serves as the series' primary antagonist. But it should be good, man.
This is the first time we've seen them together, correct?
That'd be a good
in a film.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think so.
McConaughey's underrated. I really do. I like his films. I think they would be a really good mix on screen.
He's just now getting his steez, man. He's given stellar performances. I think like what put him on the map was that first season of True Detective, which I think blew all of us away. It's like the dude woke up one day and was just like, I need to be an S-class actor, and then like knockout after knockout. So it should be good. And Idris Elba is completely underrated, I feel, when it comes to his prowess as an actor, his charisma, the gravitas, the fact that he can play leading men in these roles. Bring it back, dude. He's like a guy's guy. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on point.
Yeah. So yeah, Dark Tower. I support it. Let's go.
Let's do that. Let's do that. And since we're talking about interesting roles, how do you fill the shoes of Harrison Ford? Can anyone really do that with the role of Han Solo?
It's one of those things that it's one of the great unknowns that I think will kind of be delved into in the coming months, because we just got a bit of casting news that an actor, Aldrich Ehrenreich, he is officially going to be our young iteration of Han Solo in the Star Wars anthology films. I don't know. I can't really have a stance on that either or, because one, I haven't seen a single film that has this dude in it. I think he might have been in a couple shows that I've seen. As far as the look to the guy, he does look like he could be a young Han.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like as long as he can have that young, smart ass type of like devil may care attitude that Harrison Ford should carry well.
That's a good one.
I think that could be good. I'm open to it.
With that, it's just like, just don't go in with any expectations. Just take it for what it's worth. I mean, if you try to compare them, you're going to be having a tug of war through the whole movie. Go in there.
Oh yeah.
Just leave your mind open and enjoy it. That's all you can do. Otherwise, to try to compare anyone to Harrison Ford as Han Solo, that's just like, That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you say this, but we're gonna get that comparison regardless. I already know, like all the little teen bop females and stuff. They're sitting there, oh, he's great. He's gonna be awesome. Yeah, he's so cute, based strictly on his looks. And then you're gonna have the old school people that are like, yo, it's always gonna be Harrison Ford. There is no other Han Solo. So that debate is it's inevitable.
I mean, that's just. If you think about it, that's the same thing with the James Bond movies. Everyone thinks Sean Connery's the best because he was the original, then Roger Moore, then Pierce Brosnan, all these other ones. I guess you can't really get around it. People are going to have their comparisons, but I'm just going to leave my mind wide open.
Daniel Craig, the end. Daniel, my boy Daniel Craig, dude.
Seriously, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I do like Sean Connery. I agree with the Roger Moore, but to me, Daniel Craig is the James Bond that James Bond should have been from the get-go. It's just edgy. It's sort of dark. He's not dependent on the little gadgets. You know what I mean? The grappling hook coming out the watch and laser and all that crap.
He got bruised. He got battered. He got shot at. He was running, doing parkour in Africa.
Yeah.
This dude, no, he was like a straight up. I'm in my six. But I'm all about the streets. So it's just like, he was great, man.
I like Daniel Craig as James Bond. I do.
All right, well, let's look at another debate. I know it's going to be huge with our new little Superman and little Robin.
Oh, yeah, the youngins. So, the comic book news. So I guess this is part of the whole DC Rebirth banner. They have like a slew of titles that are coming out in the coming months. Some I'm really fascinated or / interested to see. Others, I feel like it's the same old stuff. Mm-hmm. This one in particular, though, that I showed 7 earlier, is the new duo of Damien Wayne and Jonathan Kent, who, and I guess in this new rebooted universe, is the son of Superman and that thought Lois Lane. So,
any feelings towards her?
I have never liked Lois Lane. I can't stand her. But the idea of them having a son who is, to borrow a phrase from Star Trek, a child of both worlds, always been a fascinating issue for me. I think, in him, because you already know, Jonathan Kent is going to be the optimist like his dad. He's going to be gullible, and he's going to be impressionable. You pit that type of character with Damien Wayne, who is an utter little brat, and I love him to death. You hate him, but he's like Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. You hate him so much,
but you love
him anyway. You love him anyway. Those two together, it's gonna be like superhero, like Venture Brothers mixed with like the Hardy Boys, mixed with like elements.
Wait a minute.
I have so many ideas in my head, but that pairing is excellent to me.
So Damien is the Fonz, and little Kent is Richie Cunningham.
You could say that, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That makes sense. I had to nod at that for a second, but yeah, that will work.
That would work. But what if he was just as bad as Damien? That would be more interesting. If they were
then you have them too much being alike. I don't think that you have to have opposites.
You gotta have good cop, bad cop, sort of.
Yeah, you gotta play the good cop, bad cop. You can Superman as a bad cop is basically the world is over. It's not
That's
bad
true.
Cop. It's
the world is over.
Yeah, everything's game over.
Right.
So, Damien, you have that.
One of the best parts ever in the Superman movie. I don't know if that was Superman 2 or 3, when he was drunk and he was in the bar breaking those bottles with peanuts.
Oh yeah, I think that wasn't that 2.
Oh,
was that 2?
Or 3.
It was
man.
3.
Was that 3? I don't know. Yeah.
Man, ever, man.
Ridiculous.
The whiskey bottles are peanuts. Stomping them. Pow.
Ridiculous.
Love that.
Oh man, that would be that's interesting, man. And this is going to be animation, correct?
No, man, it's gonna be a comic book. That's why I said comic news.
No, but it's going to be just a comic book.
It's just a comic, yeah. It's like this DC Rebirth line. An animated series would be awesome.
That would be.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad idea. That's an excellent freaking idea.
Give down when it comes to their anime, boy.
If they took that Young Justice style that they had and they made it to where it was the next generation, where it was Damien and Jonathan Kent, and they're kind of like in this world of DC.
You know what? Because you kept saying Damien, and all I thought about was, they did such a great job with Damien and his character. It's so solid that I just jumped to animation because that would be brilliant.
The latest animated films have very much been about Damien Wayne. So if an animated series, I would hell yeah, sign me up for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
I'm surprised they didn't do that with the success that they have with the anime.
You don't know why they did. We don't know why they didn't, Charles, because it's a good idea. That's why.
DC. Come on, DC. What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry, DC. We love you. We love DC.
I love to hate DC, man. It's just like it's like hit or miss, man.
DC is that really hot chick that constantly argues with her, and you don't want to let her go, but you can't stand being around her.
Gotcha.
Oh my goodness.
That's our relationship right now, DC. That's how it goes between us. I can't let you go, but I hate your guts.
I can't with you.
Joke. Moving on. Bad joke. I'm sorry. So, in other news, we have the first set photos of American Gods, which to me, this holds a special place in my heart, because American Gods is a novel that was created by the phenomenal novelist Neil Gaiman. Came out years ago. I read it at the height of my anger in my adolescence and my teen years.
You mean you're not angry anymore?
I was angry, but I had no focus. Like, it's a less owned me. It's me with no filter, basically.
What?
So,
Lucky Strike cigarettes, man.
17. So I read that book, man, and it completely changed my life. Real brief summary of the story. It's urban fantasy, takes place in now-ish times. Mm-hmm. You have the old gods such as Odin, Mr. Anansi, the spider god, all these old deities that are converging now to fight a band of new gods who represent different ideals and different aspects of human culture now. So you have a god of technology, you have a god of drugs, you have a god of media, you have a god of all these different modern concepts, and it's the old gods versus the new gods in this clash. And our primary character, Shadow, who we'll get on in a second, he is the show's, I guess, the viewer's way in, because he gets picked up by a character named Mr. Wednesday to act as his assistant / errand boy, and he's kind of thrown into this world of gods and magic and all that good stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And an interesting note for you, Seven, the guy that plays the main character, Shadow. He was on your, what was it, the 100 show? Is that what you were talking?
So they killed. 100 is doing really well for some people, because I'm seeing characters on that show that are on was it Fear the Walking Dead, as well as now this one. They're spinning off and just working. So it's doing really well for people. Good. All right. Always good to see actors working.
Yeah, and they did kill him off in the 100, right?
Yeah, they did.
That's why he's able to be on American Gods. But it's going to have an awesome cast. Ian McShane is going to be playing Mr. Wednesday. Your bloke from the 100 is going to be in it.
Yep.
Gillian Anderson from X-Files, remember her? Mm-hmm. She's going to be playing media. It has a real awesome cast. Orlando Jones, I knew him primarily from Mad TV way back in the day. He's going to be Mr.
I met him last Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, man. So it's going to be a live cast, dude. So we'll keep you definitely plugged in on that one. I will be reviewing the show, and I will give you guys the play-by-play when it does come out. Awesome. Sometime in 2017, I want to say it's going to be out.
Wow.
2017 is going to be a year, guys.
Big year, man. Big year.
A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff coming out. Wow.
So, what we spoke about this a little bit before the show. What do you think about a Chinese version of the Justice League?
Go first, Charles. Go.
No.
I thought about it. You legitimately thought about it, so it's all good.
With this, you have to know when to leave stuff alone. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. I would just let it go.
Okay. Well,
that'd be like coming out with a Street Fighter and changing up everything. You know what I mean? It's just, let it just.
Okay. I'm going to refute that a bit, because I honestly feel like if you're going to have a group of characters such as the JLA, which stood for Justice League of America, right? Mm-hmm. It kind of begs the idea, okay, if there's a Justice League of America, what about the other nations?
But the thing you have to ask yourself, are they going to have, now this is the flip side, if you have a slew of new characters, but if you're trying to run with a Superman, a Batman, then I'm just leave it alone. Now, if you can come up with original characters, it would work. But to take and use the original characters now and I'm like, nah.
Well, yeah, and the question that me and Seven were kind of gnawing at before the show is this going to be a part of the DC Rebirth universe, or is this going to exist in its own little bubble that's not at all connected to Batman and Superman and all those other characters?
Yeah, I would. If you're going to do what you can't, I wouldn't connect it. Now, down the road, if you have a meetup or something like that, but have original characters. Do not keep riding on the same old. Me personally, I'm getting tired of the rebirths of this and rebirths of that. I don't know, man. It's just, I always say this on most of the shows, there's so much good independent stuff out there. There's so many people that are creating new characters. Use some new stuff, man.
Well, they kind of didn't have to this time around because of the whole, debacle that was the New 52. So they had to squash that. And if they're going to try to stay afloat as a company, they had to come up with something new. So that's why we got DC Rebirth. We've gone about this, I don't know how many times, but when it comes to a shared continuity, it can be done. Like the Doc Samson novels in the comics, they've been going for years, since the 30s, 40s, somewhere. It's been there for decades. And it's still just one coherent canon. It can be done, but everybody gets so caught up in just what's the next big spectacle. I can't do big crossover events anymore between Marvel or DC because it's just, everything at the end of the day is going to get rebooted and returned to the status quo. That's the problem with comics.
It's like I call it the Matrix. The Matrix, how many times has Zion been done? You know what I mean? And just coming back again. It's the same thing, man.
So what you're trying to say is you're not ready for another Power Rangers movie? Because that's coming.
Well,
just when cuter teenagers, Drew.
Yeah, they got little cute teeny bop teenage kids. I'm curious because again, Power Rangers is my heart. I've been into that since it first came out to the States. And even before then, because my friend, he was half Korean, half Japanese. His dad would go out overseas and come back with a bunch of the Raws. He would record it on VHS and we would watch it. So I've been on this whole Super Sentai transforming heroes from Japan thing for long before I should have. But it might be good. We'll see. I'll give it a shot. The designs look pretty cool.
Everything has a reboot, man. Even Jigsaw.
And then aren't they trying to reboot Saw again too?
Yep.
I don't get. I keep saying this. I just don't understand. I don't. It's just hard for me because I'm a writer. I'm a creator, and there is fresh stuff out there. And I don't know if they're looking at it as it's just cheap. We already have it on hand. We don't have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. That's what that is.
Well, yeah, it's precisely what it is. Why do you think we've gotten so many different Paranormal Activity movies? Because they're dirt cheap to make, and they have an adequate return. And they're going to keep just doing that into the ground. Even when they perform poorly, it was still a win for Lionsgate and those other studios. Mm-hmm. So they're going to keep making them, dude. But Saw, come on.
Yeah,
come on.
It's not.
So there's been a soundtrack leak for Suicide Squad, which I'm sure was,
an actual leak or a leak. Oops.
Out
there.
I think
download it now.
I think it's called We Got to Keep the Energy Up because I think they did promotion a little too early. Because right now it's show me the movie. I don't want to see anything else.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with,
I'm walking up Times Square, man, and they got these billboards. I don't think I've ever seen billboards that big, full size, 4-story high.
Building size, man.
Suicide Squad signs, man.
I keep seeing all these clips and random I've seen the posters too, all over town when I'm driving out to work and stuff.
Right.
But it's part of that whole cycle where it's here, let's show you more than half the movie before you even go in. I'm so proud of myself because I've avoided all of that crap. I think I haven't.
I avoided a lot of the trailers, man. I did.
Yeah, man.
I did.
So they're trying to really guarantee that people go to see it because there's that whole scare about, they went in and did reshoots to add more comedic effect to it because they're worried. And it's ooh, guys, that's
not a good sign.
Nah, I think that's one thing that I loved about Batman style movies. If there was a joke in it, it was a very dark joke. You know what I mean? It wasn't he's not there for laughs. He's just there, hey, let me get the job done. And you don't really need, I'm not going to see a comedy movie. If you have some stuff that's funny, that's fine. But I'm not looking for a comedy when I go see Suicide Squad or I go to see Batman. That's not what I'm not there for that. So hopefully reshooting and making a mistake.
Right.
Yeah, I think it'll be more along the lines of like dark humor because they are dealing with villains and they do very dubious things morally, to say the least. And I'm pretty sure that most of those are going to be like deal with Harley Quinn. They're doubling down on her being like the hot commodity for that film franchise.
But
And with Will Smith, beg your pardon?
No, I just before you go to the one-liners that she's been saying have not really been that interesting. Oh, because we're bad guys. That's what we do. I was like, oh, come on.
That didn't really hit for me either.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She's likable. I like Margot Robbie. She
I
looks
love
freaking
her.
phenomenal as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping that they just kind of stay true to who she is for this new version. I hope they kind of stay true to who she is and don't make it just the Harley Quinn show, but Harley Quinn functioning in a team of other people that are just as messed up, if not more so, than her.
Yeah,
So-
I think if they try to ride that whole movie on her shoulders, man, it's going to dive straight down into the ground.
Yeah.
To the ground.
Her being like Margot Robbie it's not enough. It can't float the whole boat. So
All right, so I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Into it, or not into it? Okay. Guardians of Galaxy 2. Into it or not into it?
Yeah.
of course, duh.
Okay.
Is
Oh,
water
yes.
wet? Of course.
Civil War 2. Looking forward to it? You're into it or not
Wait.
into it?
Civil War 2? What do
Yeah.
you mean?
There's talk
comic?
about doing since
Oh, they
Civil
have-
War did so well.
They have to do a sequel. I mean, they have to continue. You
Right.
can't cliffhang people like that.
But wouldn't you? They could go to another. Like for instance, they could go another direction. They don't have to necessarily label it Civil War 2 per se.
But this is the thing, though.
Right.
And this is what I would tell people to be ready for.
Mhm.
If they do Civil War like they did the comic, that second one, man, some people might leave that theater very angry. And some people gotta die, man. You know
Okay.
what I mean? They're gonna bring some cool people in, but some people, some cool characters are going out too. So I don't know if they're ready to make that leap, if they're gonna stick true to the comic, because some people gotta go. Some people gotta come in and some people gotta go. So I don't know if they're willing to take that risk. And you know who I'm talking about. And a lot of those movies ride on Cap. You know what I mean? So are they willing to go that far? I don't know. Me being a comic book, I'm saying do it like the comic book. But I don't know if they're willing to take that risk.
I don't know if they are either. And as far as a film goes, trying to repeat what we saw in Civil War the film, which I thought was great, it reeks too much of a sequel. So in this particular case, I'm gonna be like, if it's a film, I'm not into it.
Wow.
Not for it.
It would be a tough act to follow. That's I don't know, man. It depends on how they go. It's kind of risky. Me being a comic fan, I would go see it. Again, it has to stick true to the comics. I think if they try to take it in another direction, all they're doing is just trying to save the franchise in a sense. You know what I mean? So
Right. But it did
Yeah,
so
yeah,
well.
definitely.
It's kind of like there's nothing to save. It was awesome.
no, what I'm saying
Right.
is the longevity of it. You
Gotcha.
understand what I'm trying to say?
So
There's nothing wrong. Civil War to me is that's the movie to beat. But if you come out the way it's supposed to be done, if they're going to do a sequel,
Right.
that could jeopardize what they have, because people are anal about their films, but they have, like I said, Cap plays a major role in Civil War, and we all know how that goes in the comics. So, or again, are they willing to risk that? So I don't know.
And for all you Mark Hamill fans, he is not done doing the voice of Joker. He will continue. So don't be afraid, because now he's on the whole Star Wars kick. He will continue to do the animated voice of the Joker. So don't worry about it.
Yes. Oh, guys, may I please say something? We had a request. You know me and my little rants about the whole video game scene.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with this thing. I think right now you really need, besides Overwatch, I think the video game scene really needs to step it up. Again, E3 was, from the highlights that I saw, was okay, but it was Microsoft was more so about the system than the games. You know what I mean? They're trying to promote the Xbox S and the Scorpio and all that type of stuff. I'm worried about what I can get on my system. But anyway, dealing with Microsoft. So I've been a hardcore Microsoft Xbox fan since it's come out, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of my gaming buddies were hardcore Xbox fans, and we've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on Microsoft, okay? Especially Xboxes. And this one goes out to my buddy Clips. We've been gaming now for 12 years on I think it was like 12 years now. I think it's been a long time, 11 or 12 years. Anyway, and I mean, I've gone through, you know, with the big ring, the red ring of death. I went through 6 Xboxes. 6. Seriously, that's how hardcore I am. Even through all the trouble, I stayed with Xbox. I remember they kept one of my systems for a month. Called, try to get the, you know, it was really bad with the red ring of death. The last system I had go out, I called them. I told them, hey, you guys can't replace it with a brand new one. I'm on the phone with the head of customer service for North America. The only thing they wanted to do for me was give me a free month of Xbox Live. And I told them, you know how many thousands of dollars I've spent with you guys? So this is the problem that I have now. So my buddy Clips, this is for you. He went out and bought the Xbox Elite controller, right? Went out and bought the controller. Controller's $150, and it lasted 2 months, man. 2 months. The thing overheated and stopped working. So he had to take it back to GameStop, but he didn't have the receipt. And usually those types of stores will hold on to a receipt for a certain amount of time. So I think they only held on to the receipt for
like a month or something like that.
Like 4 weeks or something like that. But so there's nothing they could do. They said, you're going to have to send it back to Microsoft to get it fixed. He says, okay. So he called Microsoft. What he did, he had the bank statement, you know what I mean, with your credit card and debit card, that whole showing that he had purchased it, right? They would not take the controller back to fix it. How the F are you supposed to fix it if you can't send it back to the factory? Now, even with the Xbox, I didn't have my receipt, but I had the serial number. That's what they would ask. Give me the serial number. Boom, boom, boom. They'll send you a box. You send it out. So now he has a Microsoft Elite controller that he can't get fixed. And this is what they told him. They told him, well, if you would have bought the Elite system, you could have just sent the controller in to get it fixed. But he bought the Elite controller, you bunch of morons. So why don't you fix it? This is the problem with Microsoft. Take care of your people. Take care of the people that buy your product, man. I'm saying this. One more thing. I went through 6 Xboxes, right? I would go to the comic book shows and I would buy Xboxes and I would raffle them off to my fans. This is how hardcore I was for Xbox. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars. I've turned tons of people onto Xbox Live. But this is how they treat their customers. Microsoft, get your butts together, man. I'm telling you, you're going downhill. Send some free.
Send us some boxes right now, and we'll recant everything.
Also, Charles, I'm telling you, man. If you guys are just, that fed up, there's always a place for you here over at Sony. The PlayStation family is open, man.
I'm about to come over to PS4.
Come on over, man. We got you. It's all good. I understand.
They're about to lose War Machine. War Machine's been kicking butt on Xbox Live for years. I'm known all over the world, man. I want it in different countries.
Come over to the PlayStation family. We got you. You're good.
I'm telling you. Anyway, I'm sorry for ranting, but Cliffs, this is for you. Microsoft, get your butts in line, okay? Take care of your people, man. I'm telling you, this is ridiculous.
Oh, man.
All this money we spent with you guys, and you can't replace a controller that you built. Fix your stuff, man. What the heck's wrong with you? Anyway.
Random, but it's interesting. This is just, hold on. Let me see. I
can't see.
I want you to hold on a second. Let's see if this will pump up. It's interesting now. Finally, you're starting to see people do Aquaman. Like, you ever see
all of a
these?
sudden Aquaman's cool now. I'm so over that. You guys, the same people, the same chick, I bet you, in that picture.
Right.
Who's Aquaman? 2, Aquaman's whack because all he does is talk to fish. Shut up. Get out of here. All of a sudden Aquaman's like, all Jason Momoa has to do is look buff in the Aquaman outfit. And all of a sudden you guys are all his #1 fan. That's my little main rant. Climb up, dude.
The thing with Aquaman, I always said if Aquaman was written right, Aquaman can be a bad character. He can be a really good character.
He's been a badass. Jeff Johns came in and put that to sleep years ago.
Yeah,
Aquaman's legit.
I'm telling you, man. It's just you got to write good for him. Aquaman would make a kick butt character even on film if it is done right.
All you bandwagon folks, climb off, please. Get out. No, there's no place for you here. Stop it.
Yeah, stop it, guys.
Yep.
Leave Aquaman alone.
And
Aquaman is right.
Oh, so is that all we got?
Kingsman 2. That's happening, and they got the cast, and looking forward to that.
I don't know if I'm excited about that one because they're bringing back the dude that died in the first one, and I feel like that's just complete, like, again, just catering to the whole concept of the sequel.
Okay.
You know,
he died. Let it go.
This is the thing though with that thing. I thought that dude. I love the fight scene when he died. He kicked butt. That was
Great.
I don't know if they got flack for killing him off, so maybe they're trying to rush. Yeah, dude.
He did, but it's like, dude, that was a great scene. The fact that he went out, like, to kill him like that after such an awesome scene, then just to bring him back, it's the Dragon Ball effect. Who cares if anybody dies then? Because then it's just that's a stupid way to bring him back.
That was the best part of The Walking Dead until they started messing up and Glenn's gone. No, we're upset. No, we'll bring him back. Like, oh, come on. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the first one was okay. I don't know if the second one will be strong enough for a sequel. I don't know. I don't know what direction they're going to go in, but I don't know if that movie's worthy of a sequel. That's just me.
We'll see.
And my last bit, in case anyone's a Disney fan and a fan of the Nutcracker, Disney's doing a Nutcracker live action movie cast, and one of the ladies cast is Misty Copeland, so I'd like to see her.
Who is she again?
That's the ballerina.
Wow.
I think I know of her. Wait, no. All right, I got it. Yeah. I see.
You know.
Oh gosh, I please say one more thing.
Yep.
This is a little continuation of my rant here. Again, for you, Mr. Clips, he went through 6 or 7 Xboxes as well. Seriously, it was insane how many Xbox. And the thing with us, and Drew, you can contest this. When people say, "Oh, I'm a gamer," I'm like, "No, you're not."
My thing is always, I'm like, dude, just because you know what a controller is doesn't make you a gamer.
There's a difference between a recreational gamer and a gamer. And I'm going to give you a scenario. Some of my gaming buddies, when a new game would come out, it was like, "You going to pick it up?" He's like, "I don't know, man. I'm running kind of tight this week." It's either I get the game and I have to eat ramen noodles for 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
I'll get the game and then eat ramen noodles for 2 weeks and be completely content. That's what I do anyway. It's all good.
So it's like either I'm doing ramen if I'm picking up the game for 2 weeks, guys, then they would do it. That's how we game, man. That's how we game. I'm talking about taking days off of work when a new game would come out. That's how we rolled. But again, we supported Microsoft. Between the both of us, we went through between 12 and 13 systems, man. Xbox, Microsoft, get yourselves together, man. Do justice. Take care of your customers, man. Because without them, you guys aren't going to have anything. You need to send Mr. Clips. That's his name, Mr. Clips. You need to send him a free controller. If you can't send it to Sonic Eclectic, and then we can pass it off. But you guys need to do right by your people, man. That's it. Boom.
Cool. Thank you very much for coming, checking us out. We're live. Thank you very much, Charles, for dishing the dirt. In fact, we should have a Charles rant.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's good. We needed it.
And everything. I got spit all over it.
And you know what? Xbox, that's for you. You know, Microsoft. But you know what? Sony. If you want to back up Drew's passion for Sony, hey, step up. Show us your love.
Yeah.
You know. All right, Drew. Are we getting saluted? Is that the salute?
Oh, I'm hanging out, man. I mean,
he zoned on us, man.
He's zoned out.
No. I'm just thinking about everything is just kind of soaking in right now. I'm just thinking, man, Microsoft really has their people pissed off. I'm happy I'm a PlayStation guy. Man, I'd be upset too.
Had enough. Look, dude, I got a Nintendo shirt on, man. Look at that. You know? Come on.
Oh, snap.
This is crazy.
Oh, man. All right, thank you, Drew. All right, Charles.
Always a pleasure, man.
7, thank you. We'll see you next week. You're watching Eclectica on the SEV
Oh.
Network.